he got called out. It was an open letter from Rabbi Weiss, and he was worried that, if you get rid of our friend Elliot Engel, I mean, what are we going to do? Because he's a great friend of Israel. So, that this is a problem. And you've said some concerning things before. He said, I can't even remember what it was. It was some like mild thing. Like, I'm concerned about the rights of Palestinians. Like that's the mildest thing you can possibly say. And I think Bowman said that once. And so this rabbi was really concerned, right? Weiss was really concerned. And then Jamaal Bowman answers him as well with an open letter and says, oh, you got nothing to worry about. I oppose BDS. And I read that, and I'm like, oh, wow. Another great progressive, just like Ayanna Pressley and Ro Khanna voting against BDS, right? Like, there we go. And Barack Obama, if you go and look at Bowman's Twitter, he specifically says that Barack Obama read his open letter, and that's why he called him up and endorsed him. So, he was so impressed by the fact that he is an ally of the Zionist occupation that he called him up and endorsed him. Now, in December, so last month, Jamaal Bowman, he does an interview, okay? And this is with the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, okay? And he gets asked over here about Israel-Palestine, okay? And look at what he says over here. I hope you can see this now, right? So look what he says. So I've never felt pulled in a way where I need to take one side over another. I am a progressive. I am a liberal. I am more of a human rights advocate than anything else. So I used to say throughout the campaign, like, I feel sometimes hypocritical speaking about Israel, and I've never been there. Well, look, Jamaal, that's okay. No one's ever been to Israel because it doesn't exist. You mean Palestine. It's okay, though. So he goes on to say, I just read about and had conversations about it. So I'll add an opinion if I'm asked, but I try not to wade into waters that may be a little bit too deep for me as someone who's not a part of the community. Aha. Now that's really interesting. That's really interesting because you, as a congressperson who's just been elected to the United States Congress, okay, as a Democrat, now he claims that, oh, I don't want to get involved with that. It's not my place. I'm not part of that community. No. It is extremely valid to question your position because you just got rid of Elliot Engel. I mean, you got Zionists themselves asking you, where do you stand on this issue? So don't come around now and be like, oh, I don't want to pick a side, as if the issue is not clear enough. You have an illegal occupation with nuclear warheads, chemical weapons, the full logistical, military, political support of the West, crapping all over millions of Palestinians. Millions have been exiled. You got, one of the biggest open air prison on the planet, Gaza, under siege. You have Palestinians having their rights violated on a daily basis. They get throwing rocks against people who have tanks and nukes. And you don't know how to weigh in on this issue? No, weigh in on the issue. Weigh in on the issue. I want you to weigh in on the issue, right? You just said that you're a human rights advocate more than anything else, right? You just said that. So, I mean, Palestine should be your number one issue. Any human rights advocate would tell you that. That should be your number one issue. And you just ran as a Democrat. The Democratic Party, when they were doing their DNC committee platform just a few months ago, right? Joe Biden personally intervenes to get rid of the word occupation and to say that there will be no conditions on military aid to Israel. That's your party. You just joined that party and got elected to Congress as a member of that party, which advocates unconditional support to Israel and always has. And on top of it, you just took the seat of one of AIPAC's top people. So I know you know what the fuck is going on over there. Don't play stupid with me. This is obscenely obnoxious. I mean, he goes on over here to make it about Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? Now listen, man. Yes, Netanyahu is a piece of crap, but this did not start with Netanyahu, all right? I mean, you could equally call out, for example, your party, just like I did. I just called out your party. I just called out Joe Biden. And you could go on to call out Barack Obama. Oh, right, he endorsed you for giving them, how much was it again? 3.8 billion per year over 10 years, right? Netanyahu can be a piece of shit without your party enabling him. True? You could do that if you're so concerned with human rights like you claim, right? And look what he says here as well. I love this line. If we're talking about Jews in Israel, we have to talk about the Palestinians in Israel. No, Habibi. There are no Palestinians in Israel. There are Palestinians in Palestine. Okay? I think you're mistaken. This is unbelievable, man. And then he says, we have to talk about annexation and occupation and the behavior of Benjamin Netanyahu if the progressive cause is rooted in human rights, which I think it is. Yes, exactly. And I love what he says here. A threat to anyone's human rights is a threat to everyone's human right. Exactly. 100%. But then look, he conditions it, just like Bernie Sanders, just like every fucking US politician. And one of the things, he goes on to say, and one of the things I would say often throughout the campaign is if we're really serious about the long-term safety and security of Israel, we have to uplift the human rights of the Palestinian people. And we have to do better than we're currently doing with regard to that issue. No. The human rights of Palestinians do not depend on anything. Human rights only depend on you being a human. That's the entire notion of human rights. But every time a US politician opens their mouth, right, they have to condition it. Like, oh yeah, we totally care about the human rights of Palestinians as long as Israel has their peace and security. And notice how they make no mention of Palestinians being given statehood. Although, to be fair, I think in this article he does make mention of that. To be fair, let's give him a little bit of credit. But you see how he conditions it? And Bernie Sanders do the same fucking shit. He do the same thing. Right? And even then, they called him an anti-Semite. The guy's Jewish. He lost family members, relatives in the Holocaust, and they still call him anti-Semitic. Unbelievable. But notice how they always do that. Like, yeah, Palestinians can have human rights as long as Israel is safe. Oh, how generous of you. I like that. How generous. So this was from an interview in December. And here we have another one from earlier. And I think I covered this with you guys. This was in the Jerusalem Post. This is from August 9th. Jamaal Bowman, I am in full support of Israel. And then look at this. Bowman added that he is also in full support of the human rights of the Palestinian people. What the fuck? That's like saying, I am in full support of apartheid South Africa, and I also support the human rights of blacks living under the racist whites in South Africa. It's not a blatant contradiction whatsoever. These two things can be true at the same time. Man, American politicians are fucking unreal. They really are. And you know what's funny? You'll still see stuff like this. This is from January 10th. Okay? And this is in the Riverdale Press. And I think this is the exact publication where we had this exchange of the open letter between Rabbi Weiss and Bowman. And so the headline reads, Israel is under attack by Bowman and the squad. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. That's so hilarious, man. This is so funny. This is like, you know, what's the term I'm looking for again? You know, it's a fake opposition. That's what it is. Like, oh my God, watch out for these progressives. They're going to dismantle the Zionist state by single-handedly. These 5 people, they're going to do it. We're warning you. We're telling you. Yo, Bowman's come out and said he doesn't support BDS. BDS boycott, divestment, sanctions is the most basic, mundane form of protest that you could possibly carry out, right? It's just a boycott. It's a non-violent, peaceful protest. And even that, Bowman comes out and says, fuck you, I don't support it, I oppose it, fuck you. And Ro Khanna says that too, and Ayanna Pressley. Like, they had a motion, they voted against this, they voted to condemn it, rather. So they voted to condemn it. To be fair, if I recall correctly, AOC did not. Which, it's amazing that I have to give people credit for that. Like, wow, thank you so much for not voting to condemn, peaceful protests by stateless people that have been under military occupation for 70 years. How nice. How generous of you. So this is absolutely hilarious. When's the last time that you heard Bowman and the squad criticize Israel? Can anyone tell me? Because I don't remember at all. When's the last time that you heard them fight for Palestinian statehood? I think there was one time where Rashida Tlaib, she wanted to visit Palestine, and I think she wanted to go with Ilhan Omar, and Israel didn't want to give them visas. Again, absolutely amazing, right? Like, a Palestinian woman needs a visa to go to Palestine. And in the end, because of pressure, they said, okay, we'll let you in. And then out of protest, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar refused to go, if I recall correctly. And Rashida Tlaib still has a grandmother there, right? So I think that's the last time I heard any kind of friction. But, you know, this headline is a fucking caricature. I mean, that's hilarious. The squad won't even fight for the fucking things they ran on. I mean, they won't even give you Medicare for all. Never mind fight for Palestine. You know, next thing they're going to be saying, look, Jamaal Bowman is starting a third intifada. Yeah, okay. Oh, man, these people are fucking hilarious. They really are. And again, they're talking about about the these boycotts. So they're referring to BDS. You have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about, because no one is going to stand up for that in the Democratic Party. Rest assured. Rest assured. Joe Biden is coming in now. You got a blue House. You got a blue Senate. You got a blue White House. You'll get your cash. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they're huge fucking Zionists, right? They love AIPAC. Kamala Harris has been at the AIPAC conference tons of times. Joe Biden says, I'm a Zionist. He said that. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. I'm a Zionist. Right? You got nothing to worry about. No one's going to stand up to them. They won't even stand up for their own citizens. Never mind Palestinians. Oh, man. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you how they're full of shit, right? These progressives, they come along and tell you, oh, yeah, our politics. Look, like in the same sentence, they will bullshit you in the same sentence. They're like, my politics, man, my whole career, my ideology is rooted in human rights. Oh, by the way, I support apartheid against Palestinians. Wow. Wow. Don't worry, guys. And, you know, if we keep electing progressives, right? If you keep electing progressives, then maybe in a few decades, you'll have enough people in Congress who support Palestinians' human rights and also support Israel's occupation of Palestine. Great. We're making progress now, right?